Hi everybody, this is Phineas, and this is the playlist of my life. I have to make sure I'm spelling this right. So the first song I wanted to talk about is this song called Falling Slowly by Glenn Hansard. Glenn Hansard is an Irish singer-songwriter who was also the star of this amazing independent movie called Once, which I watched when I was like 8 or 9. And Falling Slowly is this super beautiful duet he wrote that he sings with the other lead in the movie. And you've probably heard it, even if you don't recognize the name or the title right now. And it's got like an incredible like harmony part through the whole chorus of the song. It's a great like duet song. It was the first song I ever performed ever for anyone. I did it in a talent show when I was 11. I feel like it was on like American Idol. I think the dude that beat Adam Lambert sang it on American Idol. Whatever his name is. Adam Lambert's the winner in my opinion. Every year. Next, let's go. Okay. 21 Guns by Green Day. I was really late to the party on Green Day. I was like 10, I think, when 21 Guns came out. Maybe I was 11. It was still in the era of iTunes where there was like, this is way pre-Spotify, pre-Apple Music, and I would listen to the 30-second preview of 21 Guns on repeat most days until I saved up 99 cents to download 21 Guns. I just think it's a really beautiful song, and the chorus melody has this like 121 guns, and he like goes into falsetto like right on the guns line. I always thought that was cool. 121 guns. And live, Billy's voice is like all Billy Joe, not my sister Billy. Billy Joe's voice is all ragged when he sings it, and he goes 121 guns, and he just like screams it because his voice is all worn out after like a 3.5-hour concert. But on the recording, it's this beautiful, pure falsetto. And I would bet that was Butch Vig's idea because he produced that record. He's the kind of guy that would be like, no, I should sing it really softly. It's more emotional. It's kind of the way Butch talks. Next. This is supposed to say, Welcome to the Black Parade. And then it's a long-ass title. So this is just the initialism of My Chemical Romance. It's one of those bands that I think a lot of music does this. It's funny, like, sometimes, like, your favorite music, ultimately, the first time you hear it, you're like, not for me, man. I don't like this at all. And My Chemical Romance was definitely, like, one of those artists that, like, ultimately I would rank in my, like, top 5 favorite bands ever, ever, ever. The first time I heard it, I was like, I don't get it. And then it washes over you, and you realize that it's, like, a biblical text. But that's a song that's going to endure. I think, when I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city. And that little piano, like, blum, 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 blum. Like, that's just gonna last a long time. One of the reasons I love that song, and it's the reason I love the whole album, is it's a concept album, and the song is kind of the centerpiece of the record. Concept albums growing up were incredibly inspiring to me. Albums like Jesus Christ Superstar and The Wall, Pink Floyd, and American Idiot by Green Day. I think like when an album has like a real narrative, as a kid, I just was like fascinated by that. And it's always been my dream to make a concept album. And I don't feel like ready to make a great concept record yet, but that's definitely like on my bucket list, is to make like a concept album. And I think you can't get more high concept than Black Parade by My Chemical Romance. Yes, boom. Cardiac Arrest by the band Bad Sons. I was really trying to get my high school band to open for the 1975 when they toured in 2014. And I emailed like the promoter at a club that I knew the 1975 was playing at. I said, my band would be the perfect opener for the 1975. And in a more polite way, the promoter said, piss off, we already have an opener. And the opener was this band Bad Sons. And I was immediately filled with jealousy and envy of Bad Sons, with no right to have that envy because I'd never heard of them. And I listened to their song Cardiac Arrest, and I was like, this song is incredible. I'll try my best. How much do I invest? I just listened to that song for like 5 months straight, and it's still an unskippable song to me. I think the drums and the bass are just like unbeatable in that song. It's just such a good groove, and the The structure of it is that the guitars come in like the intro, and then for the verses, the guitars basically like drop out, and it's just like a drum kit and a bass. And the drummer, Miles, like he plays like riffs on the drums, which is kind of rare, like signature like moments, which I've been trying to do since I started like writing drum parts. There's a song of Billy's called Zanny with these like drum fills that go like, and like I wanted to just make like Phil Collins like drum fills that like you'd air drum to in your room. And that, to me, Cardiac Arrest does a great job of that. There's a song called Jesus, Jesus by an artist named Noah Gunderson. I think a lot of these songs are like my introduction song to an artist. And this was the first song of Noah's I ever heard. And I think I heard it because I've known an artist named Phoebe Bridgers since we were both teenagers. And she posted a photo with him on her Facebook page. And I was like, who is this? And I went to his iTunes. I think I went to his Bandcamp at the time. And I found this song, Jesus, Jesus. And it's just a really incredibly well-written song. And I think he was brought up in the church. And I think he was also brought up homeschooled. I wasn't brought up in the church, but I was brought up homeschooled. And he made a lot of his music with his sister, which I thought was pretty interesting. The whole song is talking to Jesus, as if it's like mid-prayer. And the verse is, one of the lines is, Jesus, Jesus, there are those that say they love you, but they've treated me so mean. And I know you say forgive them, for they know not what they do. But I'm pretty sure they do.
But sometimes I think they do, and I think about you.
This song does a really great job of expressing like his sort of reservations about the church and about the world. Really good song. My mom watches a lot of Shark Tank. This is a song that, as far as I'm concerned, should be on everybody's list ever. This is Mr. Brightside by The Killers. I can't really think of like songs that are more well-written or played or recorded. There's a production technique in like panning the instruments in this song that I think even if you have like no knowledge of music production is really enjoyable. And that's kind of the goal of music production, is to like be like really broad and be really direct and still make it interesting and compelling. And so the way this song starts is the guitar is hard panned to your left ear. So you only hear the guitar to your left ear. And the drums are hard panned to your right ear. And the vocal is super compressed and it's down the middle. And then once the first verse is over, it all just like slams out. And then it's like super high def. It's such a great like way to introduce elements of the song. And it's so creative.
Coming out of my cage and I've been doing just fine.
I was like obsessed with the production of that song. This is a song called The Luckiest by Ben Folds. I think it's the most romantic song ever. There. That's what I think it is. He's like somebody that I've looked up to basically since like way before I ever thought I would be making music. I just was like, I love Ben Folds' music. The melody is beautiful. The hook of the song is just, I know that I am the luckiest. That's the whole hook, which is like just so incredibly like broadly like beautiful and relatable.
I am the luckiest.
Ben Folds had a daughter named Gracie Folds, and at one point in high school when I was very young, my band played a show at Gracie's school. Ben watched my band. I would recommend you not have a hero of yours watch your high school band bomb a show when you're like 16. That'd be my recommendation to you. Don't do that. Felt like I had to put that one on because if this is the playlist of my life, very few songs have changed my life more than being involved in the creation of the song Ocean Eyes, which my sister put out when she was 13, and I wrote and produced for her. And I wrote it in like a couple hours. I had a piano in the room that I grew up in that I love, and I sat down and I played the chords and I sang the melody and I sang the lyrics of the first verse, all as like an improv, which was, I've been watching you for some time, can't stop staring at those ocean eyes. Like just made it all up at once. And I thought, oh, that's cool. And then I had this idea for the hook being, no fair. I couldn't really sing it, as you just heard. As soon as I gave it to Billy, it took on this complete life of its own with her. And I was like, oh yeah, this is how this song is supposed to sound. I'm really proud of a lot of songs that I've made. There's some songs that I made that I feel kind of indifferent about. They maybe haven't aged as well as I hoped they would, and I don't relate to them anymore. But this song basically brought Billy and I from being completely unknown and having no career in the music industry to having an entire career in the music industry. And I'm so grateful because music matters to me more than any of the other things that I've ever found in my life. And it's really a treat to get to make music all the time, especially with my sister, because she's the best. So I wanted to put that one as the final song. This is a playlist that I could put on and not skip any of the songs. And I think that's what you should do in playlists. You should send your friends playlists that are like, you know, your most refined taste. And I think these songs are all songs that have had a huge influence on me as a songwriter and as a person and as a producer. It's a pretty eclectic playlist, but that's just kind of how I live my life with music. This is Phineas, and that was the playlist of my life.